All right, welcome back to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple things. We got two lawsuits that are up for private arbitration, one for AEW and Ryan Nemeth, and the other one for Janelle Grant and WWE and Vince McMahon. We're also going to talk about the Owen Hart tournament, the Queen and King of the Ring tournament, and all of that that's going on. And we have our main topic, which is femininity in wrestling and how it should be presented. Because we got different people here, we're going to have different arguments on all sides. We got Donnie here, Alexis and Nicole are the OGs. So everybody say hi. And we're going to go into the tournaments first.
Sup?
Hello.
Okay. So let's go into the tournaments. Queen and King of the Ring have officially been set up for the finals. We know exactly who is competing in the last two matches before Night of Champions, June 27th, I believe Night of Champions is, because it's on a Saturday. Yes, it's on June 27th. So let's look at the men's brackets. Okay. If you didn't know how the matches were set up, it's very simple. They were in fatal four ways, and now they are set up to do their semifinals matches. Now, we talked about this before, but some people were upset about the fatal four ways. The fatal four ways was the smart way to go, in my opinion. You have less risk of injury. Everybody did their part. They all got to showcase what they were capable of. The winner advanced. It's very, very simplistic and straight to the point. Plus, you got to see a lot of people compete in these matches, and it doesn't have to be a lot of repetitive matches afterwards. You can make it a one and done type of thing. Now, currently, the standings are as follows. Obafemi advanced in his bracket of the tournament. He went up against Penta, Solo Sokoa, and Carmelo Hayes. Dirty Dom advanced in his bracket. He went up against Braun Breaker, Trick Williams, and Damian Priest. To be fair, he had a lot of help to advance in his bracket of the tournament. On the other side, we had Javon Evans advance in his bracket of the tournament. He went up against Seth Rollins, Tala Tonga, and Ricky Saints. And on the bottom half of the right hand side, we have Jay Uso, who advanced on his side of the tournament. He went up against LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor. Finn Balor made his debut on SmackDown this past Friday. We got Naked Finn. That was a good plus. It was a good time. How do you guys feel about the
Yeah.
bracket and the standings as it is now?
That's my naked fin.
Just happy about Naked Finn.
Well, I'm always happy to see skin on somebody.
Or
Hey, you can't slame this slut over here. Doesn't work for me.
I go ahead. Sorry.
I like it. Ain't much really can go off about the men, per usual. The men's bracket is usually standard, pretty much straightforward. You pretty much know who's going to be our final four every time since we've been doing it.
I mean, this is kind of a good mix, though. I didn't expect Javon to win. I'm being a million percent honest.
That one, I'll say that threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting.
I did not think he would win.
I was expecting Ricky.
I was expecting Ricky too. I think Nicole called that Javon was going to win the last time we were on live. She was the one who said that Javon definitely was going to win. And I was just like, I don't know. I knew Rollins was
I didn't say that he was definitely gonna win. I said that I thought it was gonna be him or Ricky.
okay.
It was between them two. Because I said obviously Tonga ain't got no business. First of all, he low key had no business being in the tournament low key in the first place.
I have to agree.
So I knew that wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I knew something was gonna happen with Seth. So
Yeah.
I was like, one of them two. Actually, I think no, I did say Javon because I said I thought it was going to be Javon, but I wouldn't mind if it was Ricky.
Ricky. Yep. I chose Ricky, and you were like, I think Javon. Javon was your number one pick, and Ricky was your backup. Um, but I don't mind this. I was glad that they went with Dom in his bracket, only because as much as I love Damien story wise, I feel like this wouldn't have worked out in his favor. I like Dom being used because he's the bigger of the two in terms of stardom, and he won the way he should have by his whole crew cheating for him. So it's fine. I don't think that Opa Femi is going to advance past this. I think that Brock Lesnar is going to make sure that he doesn't. Um, I do think that Javon Evans is going to beat Jay Uso in advance in this bracket. My finals pick, it's going to be Javon Evans versus Dirty Dom. That's what I think.
Dom's gonna win. Judgment Day is gonna implode. We all get what we want.
I'd rather Dom not win simply because of that. I want him to lose because of that.
I mean,
Yeah, because they need to like do something with Dom.
Yeah,
it's gonna be because of him and Raquel. Is he gonna win, and then Liv gonna have that boo boo look on her face because she gonna lose? Now I don't know if Raquel gonna win the tournament.
I feel like Liv is gonna win for some reason.
Well,
Why can't I find this shirt again? I hate Shein.
So Liv's gonna win. She's usually right about these kind of things.
I hate all of that. I hate every bit of it.
I mean, it's a messier situation if Liv does win.
I'd rather she lose.
I do too, because I don't want to see her fight Rhea again.
I don't want to see Rhea versus Liv Morgan again. I don't want to see that. I also don't want Rhea Ripley getting 2 titles if that's the way we're going to go. I don't want anybody walking around with 2 belts.
Especially at this point in time, it's too stifling.
And it's more than enough girls to go around for you to have actual battles for that title. And you've got a whole show with a belt on it, and you decide that Liv Morgan needs to compete for a second title. No, I'm okay. Like, go home, Roger. Please.
I'll pick and choose who y'all want to put a good title reign on.
I lost Alexis. Hold on.
This made me miss the good old days when there used to be politicking backstage, because this shit ain't hot.
Okay. Alexis, this is the men's bracket. So what do you think about the men's bracket?
We know that's going to happen, that it's going to come down to Dom versus Jay. And the same old going to, and that's what you guys are saying about the day. They've been break up for the last 3 years. First off, the original member there is Dom. But like, here, issue with Dom, until he can get away, and I know y'all are going to break polls because you do this every time I say it. At this point, until this is on his as a heel, until he stands his, I will not take him seriously, because every time there's been matches where he's won clean, and guess what? They're matches, they're entertaining matches where Judgment Day doesn't get involved, but it's every time they have to get involved and they have to fucking ruin a good match. They have to. I don't think they're gonna. I think right. I don't remember who said it. Lesnar's gonna come out and cost Oba this, which pisses me off because honestly, this would have been great for Oba or Trick for that matter. I mean, fuck it. We all know Dom's gonna win it anyway, and I say that so half-heartedly. I don't want him to win. It's just like he's gonna win, and I'm with y'all. I don't want to see Rhea versus Liv again. I don't want to see double champions again. And then people online, because y'all know I always keep my nose to the grind on this stuff. people online are saying, wait a minute, Liv wasn't clear to wrestle, but she put into the women's queen ring, and we get it. That means she'll be, she can not have to work as hard because there'll be other girls picking up the slack. But honestly, and this is that I've seen, those girls deserve it more than Liv did. And if this was just a way for them to get her and Rhea part 2, nobody wants to see that.
More like Liv and Rhea part 4.
Yeah, they've wrestled like 3 times.
Don't want to. I don't know. I love Rhea. I don't want to keep seeing her being is like, find something for her to do. There's no reason your women's champion needs to be in a tournament when she should be defending that title. I don't care. If she can't be fucking cleared to wrestle one-on-one matches, then she shouldn't have been in the fucking tournament to begin with, period.
Okay. Wait a minute. Your mic, I don't know what's going on with your mic, but it's causing you to click in and out, and it's making it difficult to hear. I don't recall her. That's fine. I don't recall her being injured at all. So I don't know where that came from.
It's because of the knot on her head from her and Roxy fucking heads together. And people are.
That's
yeah,
not,
but people
that's
were
not true, because she was cleared after the hit to wrestle at Mania. If she wasn't ready to go, then Liv wouldn't have been able to compete in a fatal 4-way. A fatal 4-way is still a dangerous match. Like, that's not you got 2 other bodies in there with you. So
I know it's I know it's a non-DQ thing. I know, but it's like people are making points online because when's the last time leading up to this? Because I don't watch Raw because I can't do it at this point. When's the time she defended that women's title since she won it at Mania? Can anyone tell me?
She has not defended.
She never did.
Never defended it. She's had it now for 2 months, and she has not defended her championship.
So 60 days as champ, no title this fucking queen and something else could have had that first.
Now,
point I said, fucking Ivy, she's got nothing going on. She wouldn't have made it, but
I
don't know.
Wouldn't have cared who they put in the tournament. I just didn't want Liv in there. The whole point to me was I get the idea of it. She was going for everything. So she put herself in the tournament and they let her do it. But I find it odd that you're willing to let her go through with this and go into the tournament, and now it's plausible for the actual champions to compete in the Queen and King of the Ring tournament. Then you negate the whole idea of being able to challenge for a title at SummerSlam, is what I assumed it would be like, especially if she would win. But she's like, I'm going for it all. I want the women's championship too. And I honestly don't think that she should be going for it. If I probably wouldn't be as angry about it if it wasn't Rhea that was champion on SmackDown right now. If Jade Cargill was still champion, I might entertain it, simply for the fact that I want to see what they're going to do with it. I would want to see where it goes. What I don't like is you're doing things intentionally to revisit old feuds that have already been settled.
To me, that's lazy writing. Like, you don't have anything planned because everybody was from the jump. They want to live to win at WrestleMania. They've done nothing more. Again, she's getting more involved with Dominic's stuff than actually worrying about her title that was defense. And you're seeing a shift online of people who once defended Liv Morgan and were rah-rahing for her and being the loudest supporters they possibly could for her. And now they're just like, what are y'all doing? Because she has the title, doing anything. And like, I've seen a podcast, we're talking about this. They've never seen a woman or even a male champion that I can remember that was in the King of the Ring, because King of the Ring was always one of those things where it's like, okay, who's a guy that, and I hate to say it like this because Xavier was good at it, but who's a guy who's never going to move laterally in this company and we can give them something big to celebrate them, blah, 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 that kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
I just don't like this shit. I don't like it. I didn't like it when they did it with Rhea. Because, yeah, people were like, oh, Rhea was under concussion protocol. Rhea was getting involved more with the men's stuff than they were with the women's. And this is the same thing that they're doing. If y'all can't think of anything for this woman to do as champion, find someone else to put that title on, because it's boring as fuck at this point. But you didn't think about plans C through Z. So here you go. This is what y'all wanted. Y'all wanted a champion. Now y'all get to have it. And now you're not happy about it. Welcome to the IWC.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So
Am I
what was that?
wrong though?
No. But I do think that sometimes often there's a level of I don't know how to put it. There's a level of people taking things just a little too seriously. Um Liv Morgan isn't the reason why most of the things are happening. There are people behind the scenes, we know that for sure, that are instructing them to handle the things the way they're handling it. She is the one who takes the brunt of the heat. The reality of the situation is they did not prepare for Stephanie being injured as badly as she was. They thought that they could, continue this out and finish out their feud or whatever. But she was more injured than they thought. They didn't prepare for that. They didn't prepare for Jade when she had the title and Bianca's injury. Her finger is just now starting to bend, and it's not bending correctly either still. And she's pregnant. So they also pivoted. They pivoted really well when it came to Naomi abdicating the championship when she got pregnant, but they seem to not be prepared for a lot of things. Even on the men's side, they're usually not prepared for the risk of someone being out. It happened when Seth had to drop the title, and you saw what happened to the Vision. Every member of the Vision got injured in some kind of way eventually. It's just, they got to learn how to assess the risk better than they have been. And that's problematic because usually WWE used to be pretty good about pivoting. Even when things are wild in the beginning, they usually know how to change it and flip a story so it can be even bigger and better than it was before. But I don't know what's going on, but lately they haven't been able to do that. And they've been resting a lot on past relationships, past feuds, to get them by, and they're not building anything new. But eventually they will have to, or their audience will respond in kind. So I don't mind Liv Morgan being someone who wants to be a total disruptor in the WWE. I don't mind her bravado. I don't mind any of that. But the same way I felt about Becky always getting title opportunities, always being the one in the limelight, is the same way I feel about Liv getting it all the time. She's already a major star. She doesn't need it. Let her now, because she has what you would call veteran status at this point. Let her build up her legacy as long as she wants to. She's a two-time women's world champion. If she wants to be WWE champion, fine. Drop the belt and move over to the other brand to be champion. But to move into this space where they are now positioning her to also compete, it's going to open the floodgates for this to happen again. And that's the part that I don't like. I don't want to see people with double belts. That's not something that I want to see. Am I going to be like so pissed to the point where I'm not going to watch it? No, because it doesn't affect my life in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't bother me to that extent. I just want other people to have an opportunity to compete. You've got a good crop of girls. You brought up majority of the girls from NXT, which very soon some of those girls are going to be coming up again. And you've got good, solid people there with great characters who could carry the brand the way it needs to be carried. There's no reason for you to do this. That's the only thing that I was saying about it. But to move to the women's bracket and not to rehash it, to go over it again. Currently, the semifinals stand as follows. You got Charlotte Flair facing off against Liv Morgan. Io Sky is going up against Raquel. Now, the way they set this up is Monday, Io will face off against Raquel, and Oba will face off against Dom on Monday. Friday, Javon will face off against Jay Uso, and you will have Liv Morgan facing off against Charlotte Flair on Friday. So I'm going to start with Don. We're on the women's bracket. Who do you think is going to end up in the finals?
I don't know.
Mm.
This one truly has me stumped. I know Io's not winning, but then again, she probably could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she's truly the odd one out of all the four.
This one got you a little stumped.
Yeah, I mean, either
That's
way it's
interesting.
going, Raquel and Liv gonna be fighting.
Nicole, you got your brackets here. Who do you think is going to end up in the finals?
I think it's going to be Liv Morgan, unfortunately.
Boo.
And then Io Sky. I don't know, actually. I don't know how I feel about that. mm, I kind of want to say Raquel.
Really?
Yeah, she deserved it.
I don't know about that.
Raquel and Charlotte, but Raquel doesn't win because Liv cost it.
That actually would
There you
be
go.
that would eat down. I like that.
And then that's what I mean. We already kind of started them like, well, not work it out. This is good, right? Kickstart it.
Finish that nail in the coffin, I guess.
Roxanne was like, I would love for you or Raquel to win. And Liv was
Mhm.
like, yeah, but I'm gonna win for sure though.
Right.
I
Mhm.
said, "Ooh, okay.
Messy bitch. Okay, Alexis, do you know who do you think is going to be in the finals, or
It's just gonna come down to a Judgment Day clusterfuck, and I don't care at this point.
okay? Well, I disagree. I think that Charlotte's going to beat Liv, and I think it's going to come down to Charlotte and Io Sky in the finals.
If it's down to EO and Sharp, then I care. If not, I can't give it
Okay,
more. I can't.
so speaking of tournaments, over in AEW, the Owen Hart tournament is moving and shaking. Currently, the standings for the tournament are as follows. For the men, it has come down to their finals. They are at the finals. They did their semifinals. They had a pretty big bracket for their men. It started off with Ospreay and Kevin Knight, and Will Ospreay beat Kevin Knight. Brody King went up against Takeshita. He beat Takeshita. Mark Briscoe went up against Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher advanced, and Hangman Adam Page went up against Josh Alexander, and Page advanced. And it was Ospreay versus Takeshita. Ospreay advanced, and then Fletcher went up against Hangman, and Hangman advanced. And then it was Will Ospreay versus Kyle, versus Hangman Adam Page, and Ospreay was able to advance. And finally, on the other side of the bracket, they had a really big bracket for the men. Actually, that was wrong. Yeah, that was 2025. in 2026. I'm sorry. It was Ospreay and Samoa Joe. Ospreay advanced over him. Mark Davis went up against Jack Perry, and Mark Davis advanced. So it was Ospreay who went up against Mark Davis. Well, Ospreay advanced, and he was in the finals. Swerve Strickland went up against Bandito. Claudio went up against Brody King, and Strickland advanced on his side, and Brody King advanced on his. Swerve and Brody King had their match, and Swerve advanced. So the finals, the actual finals, pardon me, is Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland. If you expect it to be anything else, you're crazy. Now, on the women's side of that bracket, you had Persephone going up against Hazuki, Mercedes Moné going up against Alex Windsor, Mina Shirakawa, I think that's how you say her name is. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Went up against Athena, and Sky Blue went up against Maya World. She was supposed to go up against Sari, but like Nicole said earlier, something was going on with her visa, so she could not compete. Hazuki advanced against her match with Persephone, and Mercedes Moné advanced in her match against Alex Windsor. So, and Athena advanced in her match, and Maya World upset the world and beat Sky Blue. So it's going to be Athena versus Maya World and Hazuki versus Mercedes Moné in the semifinals. And those are supposed to happen sometime next week, I believe. And then the finals will be decided for the women. And this is all leading up to AEW and the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, which is supposed to have Stardom, CMLL, the whole nine. This is going to be on June 28th. Now, since the men's finals have already been decided, you guys can decide who you think is going to win. I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's going to be Will Ospreay, who's going to beat Swerve Strickland. But it'll be a great match nonetheless. But on the women's side, you've got two matches, and then there'll be a finals match at Forbidden Door. You got Mercedes Moné facing off against Hazuki, and Athena facing off against Maya World. Who do you think is advancing in those matches?
Osprey.
It's the semifinals for the women. The men's match is already set. You've got Ospreay and Strickland facing off for the men's match. And then for the women, you have Hazuki and Monet, and then you've got Athena versus Maya World.
I'm going to go Maya and Mercedes.
Maya Mercedes.
And then Mercedes will again. I don't know.
Wow.
I think Athena.
I think Athena too. I think Athena's gonna beat Maya World, and this is no shade to Maya because she just had something really tragic happen to her. And my condolences to you and your family. But I do think Athena is gonna advance. I also think Athena is gonna beat Mercedes in the finals at Forbidden Door.
She's been on a very, very harsh streak. Let's keep it going.
Mm-hmm. So, do you guys have a pick between Strickland and Ospreay, or are you going with Ospreay as well?
I'm going Ospreay because of the trajectory of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's
I'm going Ospreay. I feel like he would like my.
Fair enough. Alexis, you got a pick? Are you picking Ospreay too?
I'm going with life for the men, and then for the women down to the wire. I think I want to say Mia, but that's because I like her. So,
Who'd you pick?
You mean Maya?
yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Her. Sorry. My was at a sleepover, and she said she got everything, and come to find out, she didn't take anything, and now she keeps texting me of all the stuff that she forgot. So that's why if I'm cutting in and out, that's why.
Okie dokie. All right. So there are going to be a few shows happening the weekend of June 27th. So on the
I thought
actual
you said
day.
9/11. I'm like, oh my God.
No, on June 27th, you're going to have Night of Champions. It's going to be on Saturday. Everybody's happy about that. I guess this is where the finals of the Queen and King of the Ring tournament will finally, you know, have their victor. These are the only matches that are currently booked for Night of Champions, and I presume that by next week that will change. I'm not sure how it will change, but I presume by next week that will change. With that being said, on Sunday, however, there's a heavy Sunday. So for some people, if you watch AEW religiously, then you know that Forbidden Door is going to be on the 28th. And then you have Great American Bash on the 28th as well. This is going to be the first PLE for NXT, and it's going to be on the CW network. So you have that. It's a heavy weekend. So a lot going on. Also, they have finally solidified the date for Money in the Bank. Apparently, they're not going to move it anymore. So they say Money in the Bank is Saturday, October 10th. They moved it from this weekend of all of the shows that they had for the Mexico live tour. They're supposed to be going to Mexico from September 9th to the 14th. Money in the Bank was supposed to be that previous week on the 6th. So it's been moved. And instead of having Money in the Bank that week before, they will have Sunday night main event in Atlanta on September 6th.
They love moving Money in the Bank.
They do. They do.
They better not move it again.
I'm tired at this point.
This is the third time.
It's the third time. Mm-hmm.
Something's gonna go down. I'm not
I don't
quite sure. Did
I don't know.
See it? I don't know. I don't like people. I thought about it real quick. I'll think about it. I gotta think with that for a second.
All right. So if you care, those are the next updates for the rest of the shows heading into June or heading out of June, because we'll be over with June very soon. We're getting ready to move into these lawsuits because there's a lot going on. Okay, it's a lot. Oh, there is another pay-per-view that weekend. Slammiversary is also on the 28th.
Oh my God, it's enough.
TNA come on too late.
The Slammiversary is on the 28th, and for the most part, they have their card booked out. They're redoing the Ultimate X match, I guess, for Slammiversary. Nick Nemeth is facing off against Mike Santana, so it looks like they've revisited that matchup. And then Zaya Brookside, I think that's her name, is facing off against Li Ying Lee for the she's a heel. She's facing off against her for the Knockouts Championship. Moose returned, and he's going to be going up against Eddie Edwards in their match. They have the Knockouts titles. They'll be defended. Rosemary and Allie will be competing against the Elegance brand, and they got a bunch of matches set up here. The Ultimate X match is going to have Leon
win those titles.
Yeah, which they deserve it, honestly. You've got the Ultimate X match returning, and Leon Slater and Cedric Alexander are currently scheduled to be in that match. Leon's the former champion, and Cedric is your current X Division champion. There'll be 4 more competitors added to that match. They just haven't added them yet. And there is a Slammiversary ladder match. You have the System facing off against the Hardys and the Righteous for the championship, the tag team titles. So they got a pretty decent card over here. If you haven't been following TNA, it's not bad. So we're moving on. Lawsuits are happening all over the place when it comes to wrestling. And it seems that Vince McMahon and Janelle Grant have both decided that they would like to move their case to private arbitration. Now, I want to be very clear when I say this. They have not been approved to go to private arbitration. They both put in the request. The judge has to approve it or deny it. So it's still waiting to be approved by the judge. However, private arbitration, in case some of you don't know, because you ain't really up on the jargon. I'm gonna help y'all understand. Private arbitration is pretty much exactly how it sounds. It will allow them to be able to have the conversation about the case without having prying eyes. So there'll be no media involved. There'll be no spectators. Nobody's be allowed in those rooms. It will simply allow them to have a binding alternative to a traditional court litigation. So sometimes when the parties do not want to have a public court system present in their cases as an impartial third party, they will go to private arbitration. It's fully legal. Whatever the arbiter decides in this particular case is what they decide. It is binding by the parameters of the setup, just like any other court case, and they have to abide by it. However, this allows them to keep things private, which stands to reason. What are they trying to keep quiet that they don't want everyone else to know? The only other issue is there's a limited chance for appeal. If you use a private arbitrator, you cannot get an appeal. Everything is restricted because it's no longer a traditional court. It fully rests in the arbitrator's hands, and they will decide how it goes. If they decide to, agree with WWE and Vince McMahon's side, Janelle Grant will walk away with nothing. It costs a lot of money to file for private arbitration. It's very expensive. They have hourly rates compared to the courts just giving you a flat rate of court fees. And the clauses are mostly forced. It means that any consumer or employment contracts mandate arbitration, and that it limits your options to sue. This will come into play when we talk about Ryan Nemeth and his AEW contract, because that also is going to private arbitration. With that being said, there are some, pros to going to private arbitration. You get confidentiality. All proceedings are private. There are no public record of the filings or the outcomes. There's an expertise that parties can select as an arbiter with specialized knowledge of the actual case or in terms of the dispute, not necessarily the ideas of the case. And then the speed of the arbiter usually is designed to move faster than a public court doctorate would move, which means they will be able to get in, sit down, have the conversation. The arbiter will take a few hours to decide, and they will proceed forward from there. So now that you know everything that has to do with private arbitration, how do you feel about Janelle Grant and Vince McMahon deciding to move this case to private arbitration?
I think it's smart because too many people are saying too many things about it already. Miss Grant's whole life has been put under a microscope by people who really should just mind their own fucking business when it comes to stuff about her. She came, and the first thing we're trying to do is make her look like the bad guy. I think it's smart because this way, I don't want to say people are going to forget it, but won't cover it as much. And, we get to the point as well, look here, so she goes away. We can get this done because we got the other things to be worked out. You're not the only person filed a law against you. And it's the case for money because that'll disgusting, and you can forever can get you. You can get.
Well, Don, what do you think?
There's some shit going on. And I just want to know because I'm nosy. Well, hopefully, if it stands in her favor, it goes in her favor. Hate to see you walk away broke.
I agree. Excuse me. What about you, Nicole? How do you feel about it going to private arbitration?
I'm not necessarily super surprised. Um, because I think Alexis briefly mentioned it. I think not so people can forget, but I think I don't think Janelle has liked the amount of attention she's gotten. And then you do have those people out there who've said and have been saying awful things. Um so I think that's just a way to protect herself after all of this is settled, so
Hmm.
she can kind of so she I think so she's able to settle it and move on essentially. And then what's it called then for Vince, this is perfect because no one has to hear about all the other rest of the disgusting things that he's into and
Hmm.
has had people done. So I think it's one of those things that is unfortunately mutually beneficial for the both of them. So
Hmm.
that's why I also think it will probably get granted because of those reasons. Because it's not going to benefit one person over the other, it's going to benefit both of them, just in just different values, just different ways. Janelle for post lawsuit, Vince for during lawsuit.
I want to know what is going to be said. So I'm kind of disappointed because I really wanted to be able to at least hear the case because usually they'll put out, the case docket after it's over or during it, especially if it's
Hmm.
not such a high profile case. I wanted to see how they were going to argue this stuff away because there were text messages that she had, and there was other evidence that her attorneys chose to keep private and administer in terms of evidence in court. I wanted to see how this was going to play out and what they were going to do. Now, WWE and Vince McMahon wants to settle this quietly and quickly. And like I told you guys, arbitration moves these cases a much faster. Private arbitration is final. It's like a nail in the coffin. It's very hard to appeal private arbitration. And usually an arbiter will uphold a contract if a contract is what's in dispute. Now, Janelle Grant's lawsuit is layered. Not only is she disputing the fact that they did not keep up their end of the bargain with the NDA, but she's also alleging some pretty strong, accusations of sex trafficking, sexual harassment, coercion. All of these things come into play. Now, if you just strip away those key aspects and you focus on the non disclosure agreement being breached, then Janelle Grant is owed the money that she was promised. She kept her mouth shut, which she did. They did not finish paying out her non-disclosure agreement, which is why she came out and was like, "Well, this is how I'm going to respond," which is only fair. Given the fact of what she's been through and everything that has happened to that lady, I I wanted to hear the rest of the case, so I'm a little disappointed, but hopefully it'll get resolved and we'll see where it goes. But I just find it to be very interesting. To me, the allegations against Janelle Grant are not going to change just because she went to private arbitration. Um, it's not going to change anything. In fact, it's going to embolden people to believe that she did this for money, but they would have believed that one way or another. It wouldn't have changed anything. So I don't know. Maybe her attorneys advise that this is a better route for her. She might be able to get her money easier or get whatever she's looking for out of it better. Who knows? But
I
for
think
now,
yeah, and I also do think that they're how they are, that they think that they're pretty much gonna, this is a chance for them to settle.
Hmm.
So I think they will take that. Besides, even though like Vince and his lawyers would be like, blah blah blah, we're gonna fight this. I don't necessarily believe that. They necessarily want to, because you have to again drag everything out, even though that might be done in private, it's still being done regardless of the rhymer or whether it's, all that nonsense. So
I do believe they wanted to protect the amount that she might get, which is part of the reason why I do agree. That's probably why both of them agreed to private arbitration. If they kept it in court, that would be disclosed because it would be in public record. Private arbitration protects everything. It will stop people from being able to see how much money they actually settled for with her, and they would have to keep that part private. So I think that was probably her biggest motivation for doing it, is that all of that would be private, which is fine. Live your best life. I just wanted to be able to know what was going on because I'm nosy. But anyway, now, like I told you earlier, private arbitration, you usually they force clauses in private arbitration when it comes to employment and consumer contracts. They mandate arbitration that limits your options to sue. And this is how we're going to get to Ryan Nemeth, excuse me, and his situation. You see, Ryan Nemeth sued AEW for, and CM Punk. He is also named in this lawsuit. He has been sued for assault, for having a, what they call it, a hostile work environment. He sued them. The problem is he sued them in public court, and AEW's contracts mandate private arbitration. So Nick Nemeth agreed. Okay, fine, we'll go to private arbitration. But Nick Nemeth, well, Ryan Nemeth, I don't know why I keep calling that man that. That is his brother, so apologies. I'm sorry. Ryan Nemeth wants to go to California for his arbitration. AEW is like, no, the lawsuit needs to stay in Florida because that's where we have our mandates set up to arbitrate, in Florida. And Ryan Nemeth is like, no, I want to go to California. The reason why he wants to go to California is because California's labor laws are very much on the side of the laborer. They do not favor big business. They almost always favor those who are the working class. Okay. And they're very strict.
they're really strict. That's why, and if you notice this, which is even more gross, that's why a lot of content creator families have been moving out of California.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is a content creator family that you follow that lived in California and moved, unless they have a good reason, those aren't good people.
So
Because that is exactly why they left that place.
the labor laws are very strict in California. Very, very strict. So Nick, well, Ryan, Jesus Christ. Okay. Ryan is trying to keep the case there because he can squeeze more money. He wants more money, and he knows that they'll almost always be on his side. This is one of the reasons why they operate as independent contractors in terms of wrestling. It is so that they don't have to adhere to labor laws. Okay. Now, AEW is not playing with him. Tony Khan and them put out statements, multiple statements, and they're like, no, we want it in private arbitration. He's trying to force us to have this in court. Our contracts have company secrets in it. It has the structure of how we pay our superstars. It has stuff in there that we do not want released. This has to go to private arbitration. So I was like, well, what's in the contract, Tony? I want to know. Let me see what's in there right quick. I just want to peek. I ain't gonna tell nobody. I'm just gonna look at it and see what you did in there. The problem is if it gets public, their competitors will be able to know how they pay their superstars, whether they pay them on a base level scale or they negotiate contracts or whatever. This will give them a leg up on how they can approach AEW talent and recruit them to their companies. And they don't want to do that. So they're very protective of the contract itself. That's why they're forcing Ryan to go to private arbitration. Ryan agreed, but now the problem is they can't decide state to have the arbitration in. Ryan is insistent that it stays in California, whereas AEW wants to have it in Florida. Just so you're clear, the contract mandates it to be arbitrated, and it is supposed to be arbitrated in Florida. So now that you have all the keys to the kingdom, what do you think about Ryan Nemeth's lawsuit against AEW?
I start somebody down was like always just trying to my headphones at the same time.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Someone's got their TV super loud and it's coming through my headphones and it's like vibrating off what you're saying. So it's just like a lot of noise pollution back there, just with someone's TV. That's all.
Mine's is on too, but I'll mute it.
Okay. Now that that's taken care of, Ryan Nemeth.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
It's fine.
He's such a weird nepo baby because it's not even writing off like his parents' coattails. He's writing off his brother's coattails. He's not that good of a wrestler. He's not great on the mic. He's not good. The only reason where he's at is because of who his brother is. And I mean, it's Dolph Ziggler. I mean, great, but that's you acting like you belong to the bloodline and you're untouchable. I can understand Tony Khan not wanting people to know the contracts because AEW is already getting enough heat for adding on time if you're injured or you're off TV or something like that. But I wouldn't want, I mean, like if I was running a company and I had under a contract, I wouldn't want people who had nothing to do with it know about what me and myself and I are doing running my company. You know, it's just like a privacy thing. I find it very weird he wants to go to California because we all know AEW's in Jacksonville. I don't know. He's always just been a weird dude to me, and he always I hate the quote Gen Z or whatever, but he gives me the ick. Like he's a try hard. He wants to be like his brother, and it's just like you're not, from what I heard on threads and stuff, you're not a nice person in real life either. So no, I hope Tony Khan wins. It actually goes to court because no. He can't even look the same. He looks like his brother via like around the time he was on the Spirit Squad. He's got the same shade blonde, same hairstyle, the same haircut. It's like, dude, you can't even do
that
anything.
Is an old picture. That is one of his old AEW pictures, if I'm being fair. He went back to his dark hair.
He still looks bad. It's like he's one of those guys who wants to be a wrestler. He's kind of like, what's his tits? The one Hart, Teddy Hart. He wants to be Teddy Hart so bad. But I mean, Teddy Hart's a piece of shit, but he's athletic and he's a good wrestler.
Subjective. I mean, I don't really have one way or another when it comes to Ryan Nemeth. I will say that him suing is based off of his own experience. I can't say he's wrong or right for that. The way they describe it, though, it just sounds like it was a workplace dispute between him and CM Punk, which happens often in even regular business workplaces. He alleges that CM Punk pushed him, which, all right. I mean, technically that is assault. Like, if you are gonna look at it through the eyes of the law, that is assault. But my problem is, if it was that serious, then you should have just had him arrested on site if it really meant that much to you. Um, but of course, he went the route that he went, waited, decided to sue after he didn't get what he wanted, and then this is where we are now. Um, I don't know. And I think it is a little bit sleazy to be trying to get it in California where you know where your contract states you are based in terms of the company itself. You know full well that they're based in Jacksonville, Florida. You know exactly what's going on here. So I don't know. I don't have no victor one way or another in this lawsuit. I think that AEW is more than likely going to win, if I'm being fair. Um, I don't think Ryan Nemec have much of a case. He might have the assault thing against CM Punk, if that's true. But other than that, he's alleging like a hostile work environment, and he claims that CM Punk started to blackball him and was barring him from being booked. And this has been happening ongoing, but he currently works for TNA. So I don't know.
So I have a question about that because that's something in my soul ain't sitting right. Like we knew Phil was on some shit, especially with like everything that happened between him and Jungle Boy, and it was proven because videotape came out. I don't know video showing my age, but footage came out showing that Perry was the aggressor, all that jazz. Why Punk is look? Phil can go around and piss off everybody. He's a Scorpio male. He's got very masculine, aggressive energy in his system. All male Scorpios do that. But if he was making it a hostile work environment while he was there and he put hands on you and shit, why are you waiting till 4 years later? Does this have 4 years? I don't know. But why are you waiting now? Because I don't think Punk has anything to do with this TNWE, if that's even still a thing. But I don't know what he would have to do with that. I mean, if anyone's going to get blackballed, it's because of you, hon. Like, you bring the sun. I don't know. Does it, you know what I'm trying to say?
Well, he's saying the way that the lawsuit read when I read it, he's saying that Punk is the one who was basically whispering in Khan's ear about him, which caused him not to be seen in AEW. This was what restricted his career. And then he claims that Punk pulled strings to get him blackballed on the indie scene as well, which I don't necessarily believe. CM
There's
Punk doesn't operate that way. At least from what I've seen, he doesn't. Now, can he be petty? Sure. But I don't think that Ryan Nemeth registered to him the way that he thinks he did. Is the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
I also don't think that CM Punk was the aggressor because we've seen him in scenarios where he could have been, where most people allege he was, and it come to find out that he wasn't. So, especially with somebody like Jack Perry, he's very ticky tacky with him. He was constantly, saying things. At least that's what we were told by the media. So we're going by what we know to be true in terms of what they've said. So I don't know. I do think that unless he has some valid proof that this has been happening, like he would have to have proof. Otherwise, it's just simply hearsay at this point, and that's not administered in court. So he has to prove his case. And for someone to take the case on, he must have something that they can work or finagle into something for him. So I don't know. But Nicole, Don, y'all the last two here. What do y'all think about this case with Ryan and AEW?
Hope it goes to court, and I hope it's open because once again I'm nosy. I don't want to know what the fuck is going down.
They're not going to
But I
court.
also,
They're gonna be in private arbitration.
but I also hope that it put him in his place so he can know that he is. I wouldn't even know what class he's in because it's not really that relevant. So,
And it wasn't that long after Ryan left AEW that he popped up in WWE. It was shortly, well, he had been gone from AEW for a little while, but he showed up. I think I want to say it was a little bit before his brother Nick showed up. So in TNA, and that wasn't too long after he did that comedy tour, and then he did that tour in Japan. So he wasn't that far behind. And it could have been that he felt like he was blackballed after he left AEW. And, Nick probably gave him a good edge, a nice little elbow rub for him to get in with TNA. But I don't know.
You can't be blackballed for being a nice person. So,
Fair. That's fair.
The fuck are we talking about?
I'm that honest, sir. You can't be blackballed if you're a good person.
If somebody lies on you, you can. But if we're just talking in general,
you can't, sure. But like in this day and age, like, come on now.
No, sure, I agree. Nicole, if you're ready, you're the last one here.
Sorry, it was like a lot of feedback everywhere, so I had to like unplug my headphones. But I think honestly he's just trying to get more money or get something. Because no offense, you signed a contract. Obviously, there's somewhere in that contract about the private archer, whatever that word is.
Yeah.
So that is what it is, and I don't want to sound like pro capitalist, but to me, when it comes to contract, especially like going on with as I've been learning in school, that is your responsibility to read that.
Mm-hmm.
Once you put pen to paper and you sign off, that is your issues, that's your responsibility, that is your X, Y, and Z. So anything that him trying to do that out of the constraints of what he signed for, AEW should put belt to ass legally when it comes to him, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because you're doing too much at this point, and you know you're doing too much. You know damn well you're doing too much. I don't give a fuck about that. Nigga, don't nobody give a fuck about you. Like, he doing all this, and this is like no tea, no shade. I would low key be looking at Nick if he did this. This is how off the wall. And again, this all now I sound really bad. But this is just like how too much all of this is that it literally very few people I would let be able, like, I mentally be able to let them get away with it. He's not one of them for sure. His brother ain't even one of them. So it's just like a lot going on with that family, to be honest, and not in a good way. So it's like, we just need to get it together.
Agreed.
True.
So for right now, that is all your news. I don't want to go over everything that we've been seeing and hearing because it'd take us all night, and we got a topic to talk about. So let's get into it. We're talking about femininity in wrestling. Okay. And what that means or what it's supposed to mean. And how we got here is that Candice Michelle was talking about how she felt like there was not a diverse representation of women in the WWE. And she said some pretty interesting things that I agreed with, and some of the people on the panel agreed with and didn't agree with. So, Don, if you remember what Candice Michelle said, because I don't remember what she said verbatim, but if you could summarize it or paraphrase it, that would be great. Love you lots. Thank you. Because I don't remember. Oh my gosh. We're terrible podcasters. I want you to understand that. We're horrible.
One day we're going to get this right. Not today, but one this right.
We're horrible podcasters. We're just terrible.
No, we're not horrible podcasters.
We
We
are.
try. Okay, you want to be serious podcasters where we have no fun and we all look the same and we wear the same kind of comfy sweaters and drink like chai and like have vocal fries and all that shit.
No, even the best podcasters we like don't do that shit. So
Okay. Here, I found what she said. I found the whole thing. Do you want to read it verbatim, her quote?
yeah, because that'd be great. So we don't have
Okay.
to talk about we misquoted anybody.
All right, so here's her quote. Because this is coming from Fightful.com. This was 2 weeks ago that this came out, and we kind of, I guess we missed it because it's Candice Michelle, and who really cares about her in 2026? But here's what the article says. Candice Michelle thinks wrestling is missing femininity. Women's wrestling has evolved in the last decade or so. More women are main eventing shows and having big matches like their male counterparts, something that was missing during the go away ads, I'm not paying for you, during the Divas era. Candice Michelle feels that this has driven women away from their feminine side, and she wants to see more of it. Speaking to TMZ Inside the Ring, Michelle asked if wrestling is missing sexiness, where she explained that she wants to see more femininity from the women. Quote, I think what we're missing is a little bit more of the femininity. So what I mean by that is we've pushed so hard, oh, women are equal to men, like we get equal time, equal pay. That's a fucking lie. There's a part of that. But at the end of the day, I want the men to be a little bit more masculine. I want them to be so masculine that I get to drop into my femininity a little bit. Some people look at that as sexiness. I have never, and I mean never. I have never. I mean, wrestling has never shielded away from sexiness. If you look at WWE today or back then, or TNA today or back then, every woman almost is hot. Almost is hot.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just a difference of how a woman moves. Like, we don't have to do it the way a man does. We had this intergender tag team match not too long ago on TNA. I just loved it because the men were so manly and the women were so great. But the men are like lifting the women and they were flying even more. Then the man tries to save the woman and he can't. And I was like, wow, this is like life. I just loved it so much. But the way TNA brought this out of like the women are powerful, and I want our men to be powerful too. I don't want to be like, we're just so powerful. It's like, no, we need both energies to make it beautiful. And this is a story from Rightful, and that was the quote given by Candice Michelle to TMZ, just making sure that credit goes to where credit is due.
I don't have a problem with what she said. I think people are shooting the messenger. You don't like the messenger, so you don't care for the message. I don't have a problem with what she said. What she's In so many words, what she's asking for is a diverse women's division. But she didn't say it that way. She framed it the best way she knew how. And most of the times, what happens is when you're listening or reading something that someone says, and because you have an aversion to them or you're not really caring about what they're saying, when they say something, you're looking at it, especially when it's said like that, it comes across as you want us to go back to the days where we had divas and male wrestlers. That's not what she said. She believes that right now they have progressed so much that they are losing the aspect of what makes them women in the ring. For her, that's a fair assessment. Given the fact that every character we have seen now is all on the same wavelength, they all act and behave the same. We haven't had anything outside of Rhea and Liv Morgan's story that would be something that only a woman would know and understand and could resonate with. There has been no story like that since. And it was a popular story. It was a hot story. Everybody was invested and interested in it. All Candice Michelle is asking for is a diverse women's division that represents femininity in its entirety, not just one aspect. I also think this is a deeper conversation because feminism always has to look a certain way in order for people to accept it. And I don't like that because we as women are not a monolith. And this is no shade, but all of us are not operating under the guise of the way Shayna Baszler and some of the other women operate. We operate on our own wavelengths. Some of us like wearing makeup, we like getting our nails done, we like doing our hair, but we also want to be treated with respect, equal respect to a man. This is not trying to say we want to be hyper masculine or hyper feminine. What we are asking for is basic human respect. If I want to wear a short skirt and a shirt, I shouldn't be chastised for it and treated like a slut because I dress a particular way. I also should not be deemed dumb or not equivalent to other women who don't dress that way. That is also a problem in feminism that needs to be rectified. The classism is the issue. You can't classify me in a box because I don't fit your ideal of what feminism is. Feminism is not just you running around, and this is no shade, but let's go to the stereotype, okay? You not shaving your legs and not shaving your underarms and running around screaming, I want equality. That is another form of feminism, but it doesn't represent all versions of feminism. And it damn sure don't represent me because I shave my armpits regularly. I don't want no hair under my arms. Okay? I don't like it. And it's okay for you to be soft and still require some decency of respect. That is okay. All she's asking for is to have that level. That's it.
Okay. To be on the game. Yeah. Felt everything she was saying. I hate that she said it.
Mhm.
Just somebody else with some sense would have said it sooner. But unfortunately, so she is correct. We are lifting some damsels in distress.
You're far away from the mic, Don.
Oh,
It's hard to hear you.
hold on, give me 1 second.
Nicole, while we wait for Don, what's your take on it?
Um, I do agree. I think she does have a point. I think it's people not really recognizing the nuance in between. I think also because we had like the divas and all that, and like how we saw women in wrestling growing up. Majority of it wasn't great, but some of it wasn't bad. But
Yeah.
I think but also then going into the the big divas era when you talk about, and then it's like the unfortunate like LeBron panties matches and all that stuff and blah blah. And we're not not saying that we want to go back to it because no one wants to go back to it, but it's also showing like letting the woman like be girly. And I always use Maxine as like a good example, even though she does wrestle. Well, she hasn't wrestled in a while, but usually she wrestles like a little bit more, um, especially lately. And I feel like we need to allow space again for, oh my God, not Kala again. We need to allow more space for those type of archetypes, because especially since we're making room for them for the men's side when it comes to that, I
Hmm.
think we should be like that should be also be allowed to be a thing. And I think it's just everyone just wants to be like this badass, and it's like no tea no shade, but it's like there's a 5 million type of Rhea Ripley's walking around and variants, and I'm not saying like exactly like her, but that same mold is a dime a dozen everywhere within the wrestling sphere, especially the indies. Like that's like going to it's like literally going into Miami and not thinking you're gonna find a 5'9", 5'10" blonde with big boobs walking around down the street. There's 5 million of them. So
Fair.
I think just needs to have like a more space to allow more variety, because we do have like the good, like I said, like as amazing, and like you love seeing the women who weren't necessarily like represented before, especially positively prior, but at the same time the women who are like super girly and want to just do like X, Y, and Z, because that's how they love the business and X, Y, and Z, and that's just how you know they contribute to it. Then fucking let them. I think we get in, and this is like an issue, as like my general issue with like modern feminism, especially because I feel like white feminists has completely like taken it apart and butchered it to really benefit them, because you start going into a lot of the internal misogyny that is linked to a lot of modern feminism, especially when I would use, like, for example, I would use Megan Fox as a good example, would completely like destroy this girl. And then Megan Fox was be like, she would try to talk about try to talk about other things that didn't pertain to her looking the way she fucking does, because she can't help it. She can't help that she looks the way that she does. And I feel like there's a brand or subsect of feminism that wants to punish those women, and do punish those women. And they could be doing like absolutely nothing, just doing them and just like living their life. But I think um they get looked down upon and whatnot, because they are like they are like the beauty standard, or they are like a standard. I don't want to say the beauty standard, because I feel like that's also like none and void. I feel like there are standards of beauty, and I feel like those who fall in that spectrum of a more easily identifiable standard of beauty, I think the insecurity that is ingrained in us, and I mean like just especially like us in a women's society, is automatically switched on to be jealous. But when you're quote unquote performing feminism, you can't say that you're going to poke and prod and like tear this person down because you're jealous of them, because you shouldn't be, because quote unquote feminism. So you find other ways and sneaky ways about how they're not perform, and then you use feminism. So you use what you perform as that to degrade them and to bring them down on that aspect because you're upset about it. So that's why I feel like I agree with Candace, and I feel like that should be done more. But I feel like I don't know if that's something that's ever going to really change or really happen, like for us to like live in a thriving whatever world for and the people acknowledge it and stuff. I don't think that's going to happen because fans already have a hard time being able to like comprehend any other type of normal nuance, and this is another one of it. And I'm done for the time being.
Well, Don, are you ready or you still need some time?
I'm ready.
Okie dokie.
Okay. I was saying I hate that it came from her. Yeah, right person, wrong messenger. I do think we need like more damsel in distresses, just real girly girls. Not too many. Maybe a good 3 to 5. And just like old, I don't want to say old traditional wrestling, but like old traditional wrestling. Some of them don't have to wrestle. Some of them can be managers. We're still missing it. It's more than just, excuse me, the alternative girls and the strong girls and the good wrestling girls and the sporty girls. Or is the girly girls that just go get their hair, nails, and makeup done, then go shopping? Who happen to wrestle but can tell a good story. And if we're being honest, the black girls are always at the top of the conversation, but nobody's ready for that talk. But that's all I have to say.
Well, Alexis, you're the last one. So, what are your thoughts?
You know what? One of the best things about being a woman is that we don't have to stick to one way to feel feminine about ourselves. If you want to go get your nails done, you want to go shopping, that's, whatever. I don't care. Because what I think is feminine and what someone else thinks is feminine is maybe two different things. And trying right now to teach my daughter, who's going to the pre-teenage years, find what makes her feel good about herself. If you feel good of yourself, dressed like how you dress and how you act, that's feminine to me, because that's the point where you're like, this is who I am. I don't give a shit about who I'm trying to impress or anything like that, because people who like me will like me for me, not me putting on an act if this is who I really am. Okay. I just find it very weird that she had to even say anything, because there are women who, like, look, women actually do wrestle. And we have talked about women becoming managers. Managers are a dying act, but you can't have women on TV. Look, you can't have women on TV promoting them under a wrestling thing and them being helpless. Okay. Like, you can have female wrestlers, but do it like how Nancy used to do it. Get in the ring ropes. Don't be helpless. Get on the ring. Use your nails. Gouge the guys out, the eyes out. Grab ankles. Do stuff like that. Get involved. Because Zelina Vega was doing that stuff. I consider her a very feminine looking woman and feminine overall. And she was out here, her Quraning guys when she was managing Andrade when he was in WWE the first time.
Every
And
woman isn't strong off rip.
I'm sorry?
That's not everybody. To every woman isn't strong off rip. That's not
Right.
everybody's reality. You have at some point you have to be weak and then build up a courage to then become this strong person.
And Maxine has fit that. Maxine's totally done that. She hasn't wrestled, but she went from being a manager to having this whole training arc with Alpha Academy. And
Right,
then
so
when she wanted to get more,
who's going to be next? So
I don't know, because
move on. So we can have another one.
no, we can have more, but all I'm asking for that if you're going to play a girly girl or if you're going to do, a soft feminine character, because if that's a problem where people can't come up with that or writers can't write it, then we have a problem. To me, I think some of the most beautiful women on the roster are feminine. I think Bianca Belair is feminine. I think fucking Rhea Ripley is. That's the best thing about wrestling. And it's not just in WWE, it's across the board. There are beautiful women. It is, times have changed, and we don't want to see someone being, it's one thing to see them being like, I'm not going to take this shit anymore, and they become, they stronger, they take it out. But you need to be able to, like, do something. Don't just stand there and cry and look good in it, because we need to be entertained. And as much as I love Miss Elizabeth, God rest her soul, someone like her would not be able to work. And it's not because of the way her character is or how she looks, is that we need people to get involved.
I disagree.
I would be entertained by somebody around.
I think a character like Miss Elizabeth, if she eventually decided to get involved, yeah, that'd be fine. But if you had something like that right now, how you could make that work? It's not, I don't think that it has anything to do with beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That is subjective. Everybody has their own form of beauty, right? I think the issue here is that you guys want it to be a specific way. And the problem is that everybody doesn't get represented in a specific way. And we end up getting pigeonholed into what we are now because that's what you're asking for. And then you get mad. You say things like, well, we don't have enough, there's nothing going on. I'm bored with all of this. It is because you are having people wrestling for one goal, and that's just to be champion. There is no nuance to your character. There's no fun in it. The reason why Blake Monroe works the well is the way she does. It has nothing to do with the way she looks. It has everything to do with how she utilizes her character to fit in certain places. She could very well be that hybrid character that everybody is looking for, which I believe she already is, and that is where she is leaning. It's not really based off of how you perceive them to be presented. It really is a worldwide goal. You want somebody and people that is going to be well-rounded. Why? Because they need to be able to mesh with other people. Not only that, but you want to be able to represent the world as a whole. And this is no shade, but I don't see myself on TV at all in any capacity. There is no woman who looks like me. There's no one who is plus size who's wrestling at this current time. The only person that you could fit into that box is Nia, but even Nia has gotten down to half her size of what she was. And I'm happy for her. She was beautiful either way, but there's no representation of me in the ring currently right now. I have to watch it for what it is and latch on to something that I see. Now, there are Black women that I see, but even those are few and far between. And let's not talk about the Latina girls. They barely have any representation unless you're going to CMLL or AAA. You don't have any of the Japanese girls on TV. Right now, the only one in the E is Io. We don't have anybody else because Asuka's getting ready to be on her way out, which fair enough. She like, I'm tired. Cool. They done got rid of Kyrie. So there's no more Japanese representation. There's no other Asian representation in the E either. The dominant representation is white women. That is what we're seeing currently right now. And even their version of representation is much more diverse, but it isn't to the point where we see the varying of characters. We are stuck in this idea that if you are feminine, that somehow regresses us back to the divas age. And that's not necessarily true. You can be soft. You can have that Miss Elizabeth or woman style character if you want to be a manager and then maneuver into being a wrestler, or you could just stay a manager. I find it to be strange that the women have to stay in the box, and then they can't stay in their wheelhouse. They have to move because that's not something that you want to see. But you didn't have that issue with guys like, I don't know what, the Hart guy, the one with the mega horn, he used to run around and be a manager. You had Dude Love, I mean not Dude Love, but you had Brother Love, Bruce Pritchard's old character. They didn't move out. Paul Heyman hasn't done shit. Okay, he hasn't done anything. He is a manager, and he has been that way his entire career outside of him booking in ECW. So I don't understand why do the women have to move into bigger and better spaces. Why can't they just be what they are? If they come into the company as a manager, they're a soft feminine manager, they interfere how they interfere, whatever. Why do they have to then move out and do something? Why can't they just be that?
Because internet culture, especially with the wrestling thing, it's never good enough. You could have a woman who can wrestle, who can be a manager, who can be that feminine person. And I hate to bring sex into it, but we know it's true. All four of us fucking know it's true. A man can come out there, be the most default looking creative wrestler, musty as hell, doesn't keep up with his looks, and he'll have everybody behind him. Zero personality. He can be shitty on the mic, but there will be people defending his ass. But because it's a woman, we have to work 20 times harder. And if it's a woman that's not white, y'all have to work 75% harder than us. That's what it comes down to. It's just nothing can ever be satisfied. I don't like the way she said it because it low-key pissed me off when I first read it, because I'm thinking, why are you even commenting on this? Because I get it. The divas didn't get their fair shot when it came to their time. But also at the same time, a lot of y'all didn't know how to wrestle. And this is the thing. If it comes down to it, I don't care what they look like. Just be able to entertain me. That's what matters to me. Because if you're just going to sit there and stand there and be dumb and not do shit, then we're going to have a problem. I don't care about how women look. And if anything, I was thinking about this today. The reason that soft feminine, because I know for a fact there is no way I'm soft fucking feminine. Okay, I will fight a grown ass man. But like the way I was thinking about it, and Don mentioned this when we were talking about this in our group chat, and I think he said it here, where he wants the girls who do the nails and the hair and the clothes and all that. And I was thinking about this because we talked about fashion for a little bit yesterday. I think a lot of that has to do with today's culture, especially like the new generation coming up. Like sorry, Gen Z, you're gonna have to take the hit on this one. This generation looks down on women just wanting to be a woman. And like, because you always see on threads where it's one woman who's like, why don't you girls go get your nails done? If you don't have your nails done, you're busted. And it's someone like, well, I work in the hospital, or I'm a surgeon, or I saw when she goes, well, Rebecca, I would love to get my nails done, but I'm busy digging up dinosaur bones in the middle of the desert. Like, it's just like, why is this generation trashing people for liking pink, for liking this kind of stuff? I don't care. Again, I just want to be entertained. But seeing how a lot of the girls are right now, when it comes to makeup or clothes or how they do their hair. They're all clones of each other. There's nothing different that stands out. And you're starting to see it. We're starting to see that in wrestling because a lot of these girls who are coming up from NXT, they all almost dress the same. They have the same makeup. Their faces look the same, like their little pinched ferret faces pulled back. They have like almost the same hairstyle. And it's like, if you can't figure out anything to set you apart, or the writers can't come up with anything, then we have a problem because there's nothing about you that is standing out. Like, what was it? Fatal Influence, Toxic Attraction 2.0, whatever their name is. All them girls, and I'm telling y'all, this made me had to do a double take. I was watching a clip on Instagram. All three of those girls came out. All of them had the same damn ponytail, the same makeup, and almost the same outfit. And it wasn't even ring gear. It was like, actual clothes. I'm like, I can't tell any of these girls apart. And if it wasn't for JC having darker hair, I would not know that was JC. But they all look, and it's just like, what'd you say?
So wouldn't that be the point of being a unit?
You can look the same. The Riot Squad was a unit, but they all had their different looks.
But that's their aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could say the same for Jay, Cargill, B-Fab, and Mishan because they all wear colors.
But they're all that they still have their own identity in the group. You can tell the difference between Jade and obviously but sometimes they don't wear matching gear. Their outfits don't match, but they have a cohesive theme amongst each other. But I mean, we used to say it all the time about toxic attraction. Sometimes Mandy would come out there and the rest of them would be in a totally different gear, especially if they was wrestling together as a group. We say it all the time now about some of the other groups that don't have a cohesive theme. They're not cohesive together. So my thing is, when you say things like the internet isn't gonna let them do it, I disagree with that. I disagree because I feel like it's just it's a small section of people that are gonna bitch about it. Very small. But because everybody latches onto the negativity, immediately the conversation will shift from what it's supposed to be, which is, okay, let's talk about this character or let's talk about what they're doing. They will immediately focus or hyperfixate on, oh, well, she ain't nothing. We don't like her. Da, 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 da. We, as a society, operate under the guise of this is what reads as feminine to us, and then this reads as a weak woman. And sometimes those things intersect. And for whatever reason, a lot of people place their personal feelings, project that onto what they see on TV. And that's where the problem comes in. If you have your own traumatic issues with a particular type of woman that you see on television, it's unfair to then turn around and say, oh, well, that I don't like them because they don't represent my version of femininity. Now, girls like Blake, girls like even Liv Morgan, and at one point Bliss was dealing with it. It always came down to how they looked. It never was about whether they were good wrestlers or you just hated their character. It always comes down to how they look. The same thing comes when it comes to Tiffany Stratton. Now, I've heard many different versions of why people don't like Tiffany Stratton. I'm not the biggest fan of Tiffany Stratton myself, but I don't really care enough to have a conversation about the femininity of it. A lot of people lump her, Blake, and several other girls in the same category because they represent that pretty blonde aesthetic that most people go for. And we know that that obviously is a big thing because look at how they pushed Tiffany when she got to the main roster compared to how, let's say, Lash Legend got an opportunity on the roster, or when you look at even Zelina Vega, when she came over from NXT with Andrade, it wasn't an easy road for her in any capacity. I'm saying all that to say this. When you start to think about femininity and your mind is constructing it to look and see it a specific way, then you have to start dealing with your bias first before we start to have this conversation. Because what happens is you tend to project your personal feelings onto a conversation that requires an unbiased thought process. Everybody is not going to perceive femininity the same way that you are. And all women do not need to be represented the same way because we are not a monolith. We are not supposed to be one particular way. That is not normal. If you are only going to see a bunch of women coming out every week and there's no nuance to it, think about what I'm saying. When you look at contrast of storylines, right? And you look at how Roman Reigns literally has multiple storylines lined up for him where he could be champion for the next 2 years, never drop that title, but have storylines with at least three men currently on his own roster and a full family blowout before he ever defends that title again. Okay? And you look at the women's division, it is not even close to that. There is no storyline amongst all five belts from the women's tag team titles leading up to the main event titles, right? There is no storyline that even comes close to Roman Reigns' storyline. And we're not talking about it being a family legacy. We're talking about something that would actually be something comparable, that would work in terms of parallel in booking for anything, Mania, SummerSlam, anything. There is nothing there like that, not even close. And it's not because they don't have the capacity to do it. It's because they're lazy and they're choosing not to. And you can't tell me that, oh, well, Roman's bigger than life itself. Yeah, sure, whatever. But you also have big women on your roster who could be creating something. You know what would be something that actually would rival his story? Judgment Day imploding because the girls are going at it.
Mm-hmm.
The story would move itself. You already have it built. You got Roxanne there doubting herself, but they're moving a little slow with making it work. But you have it. You have this story. You've got two, count them, two potential main event matches with Liv Morgan and the two women who flank her. But you choose instead to throw her into the Queen of the Ring tournament to do whatever you're going to do with it when you didn't have to go that far. You didn't have to go that far. It doesn't have to be like this, is what I'm saying. And even if you're looking at it, look at the aesthetic of Judgment Day. All three of those women represent three versions of what femininity could be. Raquel is not overtly feminine in how she moves and how she operates if we're going by societal standards of femininity. She's a bigger woman of a bigger size in terms of height. And most people don't look at her that way, but she's a beautiful woman in her own right, as are Roxanne, and so is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan would represent the most feminine of feminine girls in their group. Roxanne would be the next, and then you would go into Raquel if you're going to do it by societal standards. All I'm saying is you have the ability to do what needs to be done, but they choose not to. They don't make the women a priority in that regard. Taking it back to femininity, though, when you're looking at how the women's division is set up, Rhea Ripley is put up over everybody. She's put at the top of the list. Then you have the girls like Tiffany Stratton, you've got Bliss, you've got Charlotte, you've got Jade Cargill. And since we're talking about femininity, I want y'all to understand something, right? So I posted on my stories about Jade's wig coming off because it was funny. I didn't post it to be disrespectful, but it was funny. It was funny. It was a funny clip. It was a nice little kiki moment, right? When you are now taking it to the point where people, especially men, because there's It was a man that I saw. Two very separate videos. One of them I think Don sent in a group chat, and the other one was done by I think like somebody else who does those think piece dumbass videos. But anyways, this man
It's
basically said that Jade Cargill losing her wig in the ring she needs to go ahead and be bald and be a bald villain. They don't. The other video said they didn't see her the same because she lost her hair in the ring, and they're just like, now my image of Jade Cargill has been tainted.
Because I feel bad for her because her wig came.
Wait a minute. Are you talking for real?
Yeah, I saw another YouTube video where they were having a full-on discussion about Jade Cargill's hair on Twitter. The first thing I typed in on Google, I typed in Jade Cargill for a picture of her to post with my video, and the first phrase that came up is Jade Cargill wig. So we need to have a conversation about femininity in that regard, because I distinctly remember Jada Parker's ponytail coming off in the ring when she was wrestling in NXT. Mandy Rose's ponytail coming off when she wrestled in my favorite match that she's been in, which is in that Elimination Chamber match for the tag team titles. Her whole fucking ponytail came off. They had to throw it to the side of the ring. I distinctly remember Ruby Riot's hair coming out during her match.
Just the same.
It was everywhere. It was all over the ring. The ref had to keep taking it out of the ring as the match progressed along. I distinctly remember JC Jane having boob length hair. Now she got 30 inches of hair in her head that don't match her current hair. You can tell that she has extensions in her hair. The same thing goes for Bliss. Alexa Bliss, you can see her tape ins a mile away. Becky's another one.
Lana had her extend her little. Lana had her braided bun off her fucking head. You saw it flying in real time.
And Nia Jax had her wig slipped one time when she was in the ring. Sasha's wig got split.
Had the great G grab it.
And they had to have Asuka cover her up. They had to have towels come in to cover that child's head because her wig was split. Because somebody overplucked the wig when they gave it to her.
Can I do some more?
But the difference is between all of them is that Jade Cargill is black. The rest of them are either racially ambiguous or white. The problem I have is that I don't see nobody doing think pieces on their hair, but they are doing one on hers. Now, how do that make sense? And I don't understand how when you just because you black and you wear wigs, that automatically makes you bald headed. Bitch.
I'm gonna do a quick little ASMR real quick for the unwashed masses. Okay. So just to let y'all know, a lot of those women, and I'm gonna throw in some of the dudes too, that ain't their real teeth. That ain't their real hair length. That's not their real hair color. That's not them real titties. Okay? Because you know why? They want to look good for TV. That's why. Don't be mad that Jade Cargill has better wigs than you have actual hair. And if she wants to wear a wig, I'm not going to argue with that woman because she scares the shit out of me. So why don't you wash your ass and actually wash your hair so it's not so greasy, and maybe try to get fucked every once in a while. And then maybe you can go touch some grass. Who knows? Maybe you'll find a boyfriend. You'll find a girlfriend. You'll find whoever. And you'll find more important things to worry about than a professional wrestler who's on TV and making more money than your broke ass will ever make in an entire life. End of ASMR. Thank you very much. Hello?
Hold on a second, y'all. Hold on.
Did we die?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, y'all are tripping. Boy, next time, glue that shit down. Please.
I can't with you, Don.
No, because I looked at it when she was talking and she turned around. I said, that looked kind of heavy.
Ugh. I hate being uncomfortable. The story of my life lately.
How are you feeling after? It's been a week now, right?
It's been 2 weeks. I'm
Holy
okay. Like I have like my aches and pains, but I'm still not 100%, which um is expected. Um, I
it
don't know,
sucks.
just yeah, just trying to take it day by day, I guess.
Well, don't be like trying to run a fucking marathon or anything in the next couple. I think you'll be okay.
Oh, I
But
can barely run to the bathroom quickly if I have to pee, so I'm not doing none of that. No, like it's actually really bad. Like it's one of those things, like especially if I'm laying down. Um oh, when I feel like I have to pee, like I need to go.
ew,
Like,
that sucks.
yeah. Or any type of bathroom at this point in time. Like I gotta start making my way there.
Making my way downtown. I gotta go. Fuck this whole hernia shit. Do 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 do
Yeah.
do. Sorry.
My bladder has been terrible since the surgery. Mind you, it's not great to hold your pee, but unfortunately, like working in customer service, you got to sometimes for a little bit. So that's the one thing that I'm a little concerned about is like for when I go back to work.
Oof.
Because most of the times I can just go to the bathroom. Sometimes that's not possible.
Yikes. Maybe your job a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Or I'll get a porta potty.
Just get one of those chairs that you can sit in and pee.
Oh, there's one in my mom's house for when she had knee replacement surgery.
Oof.
Did she
They tried
actually
to
she
do that
did.
with my mom.
Actually she did use it. I was very surprised.
They try to give my mom one of those, and she like gave them like the meanest ever. They're like, "Oh, this one for you." My mom's like, "I'd rather myself."
Yeah, she only used it. Honestly, she would only use it if she had to go in the middle of the night and just like she was in too much pain to walk to the bathroom.
Yeah,
I think that's like
this
the
is
only
the
time
first.
she would ever use it. And that was still, I think,
It's,
maybe twice.
it sucks, man.
I know. Ugh. All of like my things I was so used to.
You're like, I have to redo it. This sucks.
I know. It
But I'm glad you
sucks.
went. You know what, though? I'm glad you went and did it, so you're not sitting around in pain, waiting for it to get worse.
I wasn't. The weird thing about it, it was like I never. For as big as it was. Um, I honestly should have took a picture of it, but no, because I was so self conscious, so I wouldn't have done it. Um, for it to be as big as it was not painful. It was just like uncomfortable. And then it was, yeah, it was just like uncomfortable. All it like just couldn't like sleep on my stomach anymore. And then with like with my clothes and stuff, especially. Um, and now I'm just trying to keep my insides in.
Jesus. Oh boy. Where'd Tiff run off to? Did she get fed up with me?
I have no idea. I think she accidentally got kicked out because usually she'll say something and end it because we're still live technically. Um,
I'm done.
because Don is still here, right?
Thought I heard him. Dawn.
He shouldn't be asleep yet.
No, because he was talking just a minute ago.
Oh my gosh, these power outages have been crazy.
Y'all been getting
They're really bad, like back home. Like I was telling you guys, like how my mom had to go to the emergency room the other night, and like she was saying that they didn't have she didn't have power for like a day, and then she went back and she was in there for like 2 days, and like it just got back on. And then I talked to her on the phone earlier today, and they lost power again, and then now they have it again. And it was just like like even like when she was, because I was on the phone with her as she like drove to the ER, and she was like talking about, she's like, there's like trees everywhere. It's just like it was just like insane. I was like, what the fuck?
shit, man.
Yeah, it's like it's rained and stuff over here, but nothing that crazy. I'm like, oh wow.
I've been seeing on threads where there's been like bad storms in DC all week, especially today. So it's like LOL.
Yeah, like it's just like so bad everywhere. It's just the amount of trees, and it's like my cousin was telling me as she was like going to work, and she was like, she's like, there's trees everywhere. She was like, and she's like, I had to drive around so much shit.
Oh damn, that sucks. All right, well, sorry y'all. We're waiting for Dawn and Tip to come back because we were having a good conversation there, and we're not sure what happened.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
If you want us to get, oh, you're still here.
Yeah, I want to give me something to eat.
All right. Well, at least Dawn's here. So I don't know what's going on with Tiffany. Okay, so yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know what else there is to cover. So we covered that. And again, just to wrap up the wrestling, the femininity in wrestling, it's just that like women aren't a monolith, or however that phrase is. I never say it correctly, I feel like. So there needs to be allowance for anything and everything, especially everything in between. So I think just let it fly. Like don't like just what you think, what you might think, what makes a girl a girl.
I think we just lost Nicole too. What the fuck is going on?
Oh, wow.
We lost
And
her.
there just oh, and then there should be just enough space for people to be able to express themselves. And that's all I can say. Also, I like forgot she had like a real life boyfriend.
Who?
But it wasn't who I thought it was originally. But Liv was at the Netherlands Japan game with like her real life boyfriend, and I was just like,
Yeah,
oh
it was somebody else.
yeah, that's her act. That's her like rumored real life boyfriend, which isn't great because apparently is very MAGA coded,
Ooh.
allegedly.
I saw the picture and I make sure I'm like, is that really? And then I was like, yeah, them Coke glasses she likes to wear.
Yeah, she loves those guys. I mean,
That
he
was
do look cute on her. Yeah, but she doesn't like but she prefers to wear glasses outside of having to
wrestling. That
wrestle.
sounds
I wonder if she blind for real.
Huh?
So I wonder if she blind for real.
She said that she actually can't see. And she didn't
really.
yep, and she didn't realize it till she started wrestling. And you know how, and my friend, and I don't know why people love doing this, and it's always as someone who wears glasses, like my friends will do this every once in a while. They'll be like, oh, let me wear your glasses. Um, and she was doing that, and then she was like, oh, I can like see really clear with this.
Yes.
And then
I,
that's when she realized her eyesight was bad, and then that's when she said that she's been wearing glasses slash contacts since then.
I told my friend a couple years ago, go get some glasses. She was sweating while driving at nighttime. I said, girl, please go get you some glasses. Finally got
Is it
glasses.
like a Crazy Steve situation where he's like legally blind, or is it just like she's
No, she
just
just
she
doesn't
wears
have
everything?
great vision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because
it's not like she's like it's like she's like legally blind or no, she just has like normal bad eyesight.
happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
I mean, he wears glasses when he's not wrestling. I think he looks real good. I don't know. All right, I think what we're gonna do is if she so either she is in the bathroom or she's handling some family stuff. Not sure, but I think we need to revisit this conversation in a couple of months. See if anything changed about it. I think that would be a good idea. Um,
I
so
actually
we're gonna go
am
ahead and close.
agreeance with that.
Yeah, she had a family emergency, so we're gonna end the show for her. I will let you know what happened, but you guys don't need to know.
Ew.
It's podcast.
I
So
just experienced that,
I
so
guess.
that's not fun. Yikes.
follow us on our socials. It is Down for the Count on Instagram and Down for the Count _19 on Twitter. We are one of us is always answering stuff. Make sure you subscribe to not only our YouTube, but to YouTube as well, Psych Design TV too. We'll be back next week. Well, technically, the girls will be back next week. I won't be here because I will be on vacation. And just wrestling, be good to each other. And just remember, wrestling isn't the end all be all. And go touch grass. Y'all have a great night. Don, you have anything to say before stuff?
No.
All right. Love you guys.
All
Thank you so
right,
much for this.
Bye.